Grady!
Ah!
What are you doing?
I'm watching TV and eating chips.
Well, look no further. Look what came in the mail today.
Beginner's Guide to Digestion. Why would I want to read this?
I already did it for you. You eat those chips all the time, so I thought you would want to know what happens in your body after you eat it.
Why would I want to read this?
Because it's a good page turner.
You're joking, right?
You know what? I knew it. You're so addicted to that TV and your screens.
Okay, Mom.
Alright, that's it.
Okay, that's ancient history now. Except when my teacher hands us digestive system assignments. Here is your web quest, Grady. Have a good day. Thanks, Mrs. Boodleman. Just kidding. Love you, Mrs. Boodleman. The human body. It's stupid. Really stupid.
Today we're going to be talking about blood cells, organ systems, all that awesome jazz.
We're going to start with the biggest structures and work our way down with the smallest structures.
It starts with the organism itself. We are the organism. And the organism is composed of organ systems, like your digestive and immune systems.
Speaking of which, let's talk about these systems as detailed as we can, but not as time-consuming.
The digestive system allows us to break down food into smaller molecules. It gets rid of the solid waste that was once your food. Enzymes in your saliva chemically break down this food, and your mouth also breaks it down mechanically. The esophagus transports the food from the mouth to the stomach, where it is then broken down even more and then moved into the small intestine, where it is broken down even more and absorbs nutrients. Then, it is moved into the rectum, where it is stored for you to poop out. The end. On to the next book.
The excretory system removes waste products as a liquid and filters blood. The filtering of the blood is caused by the kidneys, and the urethra is what makes you pee. Wow. So interesting.
The circulatory system carries blood around the body through the arteries, in the veins, and assists in giving blood to anywhere in the body through the heart.
The respiratory system delivers oxygen from the lungs and eliminates carbon dioxide from the body. It's like one big Monopoly game.
Okay, I'll trade you 2 cans of oxygen if you sell your carbon dioxide properties.
Deal.
Next is the nervous system, which is your body's command center. It tells other body systems or body parts what to do through hormones. The brain is a prime example of your nervous system.
Muscular system. The muscular system assists in the flow of blood throughout the body. It is responsible for the movement of the body as well. But not all muscles are controllable. Only skeletal muscles are, not your smooth muscles.
The endocrine system is a human body system that is responsible for secreting hormones, which are chemical messengers. The pituitary gland plays an important role in this body system. But anyway, feedback mechanisms are very important with the endocrine system because they play a role in maintaining homeostasis, our internal state of balance. We have a video about hormones and feedback mechanisms if you want to learn more about it.
The skeletal system is made up of all of our bones, which reinforces all of our organs as well. The skeletal system is what eases movement, but doesn't control it.
But finally, we have one last body system. The lymphatic system, which is a network of vessels that allow the movement of a fluid called lymph, and it allows lymph to circulate around the body.
I know you might be thinking, where is the immune system? Don't worry, we will get there. But it is time to learn more about immunity.
Immunity is the concept of how the immune system will fight off a pathogen. A pathogen could be bacteria, virus, fungi, anything like that. For example, the pathogen for rabies is a virus.
And so to demonstrate immunity and things like vaccines, we're gonna tell the tale called Grady the Pathogen. Hi, I'm a pathogen. I'm going to rob the bank of immunity.
Okay, so it seems that we have to break through the first line of defense. The puny skin, a physical barrier. It's too thick to get into. We need to go for the weaker line of defense. The chemical barriers, saliva and tears. They're pretty easy to get into. Once we're in, we'll have to make sure not to touch anything until we get to the vault. Our antigen fingerprints may be recognized by an antibody and set off the alarm.
So, once we break through the first line of defense, a tidal wave of blood will start to come in. No matter what we do, the body is going to find out about our breach and automatically start increasing blood flow near the bank. The immune system and the circulatory system are close allies. Ugh.
We need to fight through the second line of defense. Once we reach the bank, the antibody police will start to attack us and fight us off. White blood cells are in the security room. They'll be watching us like a hawk.
We also have to make sure nobody gets captured from the raid, because they will beat you up and bring you back as a vaccine.
They'll make you weak and attack you. Then they will recognize those pathogens right away and the raid will be over.
Any questions?
How can we resist?
With antibiotics, we need to really annoy the crap out of the body. Chances are the body will be consumed of too many antibiotics, and we will be able to develop the resistance and continue on with the raid. As long as there are no beneficial mutations, inhibition, or herd immunity, we should be good.
Sometimes we're able to turn organs against each other through rejection or maybe autoimmune disorder. That kind of stuff.
Wow. Cool. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and make sure to hit that notification bell for more biological content. Welcome everyone back to another episode of the Stick Bros podcast. You guys really liked the last one, so we decided to give you another one. We have a lot of questions here that were surprisingly a part of our test, and we picked out the best ones and we thought that we would go ahead and do it. The first one's about HIV, and they said, like, I heard HIV. Let me pull up the one right here. I forgot what it said. Here we go. Emerald Pup. She said, "Hey Grady, hey Foster. I was wondering if you could tell me the relationship between HIV and the immune system." Well, we kind of made an announcement about the fact that we were going to be doing a immune system video, and we got a lot of questions about the immune system. You guys picked up some really good questions, by the way, so we picked the best ones. The first one's about HIV, how it...
So first we want to talk about, like, what HIV is, right?
Yeah, HIV is caused by virus. It's virus. The pathogen is a virus for HIV.
It can be transmitted through sexual contact, and it's quite common.
Recently, I think it's getting less and less. It's still rare, but there's about 200,000 cases every year. Let's see. It disrupts homeostasis. I'm looking at my brain dump right now, and it says how it disrupts homeostasis to the question, which isn't a part of your question, Emerald Pup, but I just want to add it onto it. So, and it does go with your immune system part of the question. So HIV disrupts homeostasis because the relationship between HIV and the immune system is not very friendly, because HIV likes to damage the immune system. And like Foster said, it's spread through sexual contact, of course, and even blood. Blood, you don't have to have sexual contact to get HIV. You can also get it through blood, like blood transfusion. Blood transfusion. Am I correct? Yeah. So HIV is also transmitted through a mother and a baby, if I'm correct too.
It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. Okay. So, but what it specifically does to the immune system is that it likes to attack and go to town on the white blood cells. Pathogens stand no chance against the almighty white blood cells if the white blood cells recognize the pathogen and start making antibodies for it. So, killing off those white blood cells with the HIV prevents the pathogen, prevents that virus from being engulfed or producing antibodies to attack the pathogen. So,
which leads to AIDS.
Yeah, which will eventually lead to AIDS if it's left untreated. So that, my friend, is HIV.
There you go, Emerald Puppy.
Woo!
All right, next question here. It says, what is the mechanism for organ transplantation? So I think they're talking about when you get an organ transplant, like, let's say you get a new kidney or something. The mechanism through that is, first they will have to completely suppress your immune system, because if you were to just take out the kidney and put a new one in, your blood cells would immediately attack it, because that's a foreign organ going into your body. Grady, you want to explain what can happen if it's put in with the immune system on, or stuff like that?
Oh yeah. So what happens is that your immune system has two choices. For the acceptance and rejection, we're going to talk about acceptance first. I would say that your organ has to have not like the right information, but like I can't think of another word, like the right. It has to be the perfect fit for the immune system to like it. The immune system is like the picky dad when his daughter comes home with a new boyfriend, and the dad is very strict about the guys that the girl dates, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I couldn't think of another way to think about it.
Yeah.
I can't think of another way to think about it. But the immune system is like that picky father, and they need to accept, and if they accept the new organ that it was just transplanted and put into, I don't know, we'll say it's a new pancreas, that immune system, if it accepts it, and it won't attack it, it'll just stay there like, cool, welcome to the club. Rejection, however, the body can have a choice to reject an organ. And we talked about this, this vocab term was described in the video that is going to be going along with this clip. So what's happening is this the immune system is not liking the new guy that the girl brings home and decides to reject it and start attacking it. I guess the better analogy I could pick is that your teacher rejects your late work. You are getting 2 points off for this, and I'm gonna attack you for it. I'm just kidding. No teachers would ever do that to us. But the point being is that your immune system
very strict.
Yes, and let's say if you did have something like how do I say this? Like let's say your body is rejecting the pancreas. We have a way to accept it, immunosuppressants, right? Immunosuppressants are used to accept. Anything else you want to add to that?
Not really, other than the fact that organ transplants are extremely dangerous to the fact that they're completely weakening your immune system and it leaves you vulnerable to many other diseases, which means no one's really in the room when you're on the immunosuppressant. If they are, they're wearing a mask, and you have to be very careful because they give your immune system back very slowly. So, Great question.
Yeah, that was great. So, the next thing I think the question we wanted to talk about, because you and I were also having trouble with this, was the creation of antibodies. And so I'll tell you what happens. Antibodies are not produced to hurt you. I just want to make that clear because I know a lot of people who were saying that antibodies were on the virus's side during COVID, but that's not the case. Antibodies are on the body's side. They're here to protect
Obviously,
you.
never took living environment.
Right. The antibody is a protein, actually, meaning that proteins are created by amino acid sequences, and that means that they're sorry, I had a block.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's so the antibody, if it has a specific shape, that means that that is meant for a specific pathogen. And like,
were you thinking of like proteins as in enzymes, break down things?
I was thinking more like proteins, like, like, enzymes always have a specific function, or like they're shape specific, they bind to the specific
receptors,
substrate to they bind to a specific break down.
Bind it up.
Yeah, they break down, I think. Break down or bind up, yeah. So basically that's an antibody in a nutshell. It's like this Y shape, and it recognizes specific antigens. Now, remember, antigens are the fingerprints of a pathogen. We made that analogy in the video, by the way. We showed that I was the character. I had my hand was shaped like an X, and I was gonna touch, and the X, was the receptor slash antigen, and I wanted to touch the antibody and bind with the antibody so that way it would kill me. But, Tyler was not... Foster!
There you go.
Was like, Grady, don't touch that! Because we don't want the antigen to touch the antibody. Yeah, it would have said bye-bye pathogen.
And the next thing it would do is if it got a hold of that, the antibodies were produced, and they got tagged, the memory cells in the body would save that antibody for later. So as soon as that pathogen came in again, the body would get right to work getting rid of it.
Yep. So if I bind to pathogens, if an antibody binds to a pathogen, it's going to neutralize it. So with that being said, what creates antibodies? Well, white blood cells. That's why we put them in the security room, because they're controlling everything. They're looking at everything. They know what's going on. So that's why we put the white blood cells in the security room. Specifically, B cells are and B cells are a type of white blood cells that create antibodies, and the antibodies then it's like an army of antibodies, and they go find and kill that pathogen and bind to it to neutralize it, if that makes sense. These were all really good questions.
Yeah, they are really good questions.
Wait, did you say something?
I was going to say repeat that sentence because my phone made a noise in the background.
Okay, so B cells create antibodies. B cells is a type of white blood cell, and the And when the B cells create these antibodies, they're going to create an army of them when the white blood cell recognizes a pathogen. The pathogen is going to, not the pathogen, the antibodies that the white blood cells make are going to bind to the pathogens and neutralize it. Get rid of it. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yep, I know what you mean, Grady.
So,
all right, well, these were really good questions
They
on the topic. I hope this gave you guys a better understanding of immunity, because we're hoping it does for us.
Yeah.
So, that wraps it up about, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching the Stick Bros podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.